episode 33 of the Trackside Lounge. Welcome on in. A bit of a hiccup last week, so let's not talk about that. Let's talk about successful things. I mean, it's a busy time for Hooncorp coming up because just in a couple of days' time, you guys are on the track.
Yeah, we've never done that before. Well, we used to do the Pookie track days, but it's the first time for Hampton, so pretty exciting. It's really become apparent in these last few weeks that there is genuinely an interest for track days. You know, no glitz, no glamour, no ceremony, just a green track, you and your bravery.
Yeah, and the person you're competing against is yourself, isn't it?
Exactly.
You get out there, learn how your car works.
I don't even think we're going to have timing for this one, are we?
I think they'll have the loop going, but I don't know. It's a lot of things to learn and work out from what it's all about. We don't know, and we've asked questions and we still don't know. Not being disrespectful, but we'll find out. And a lot of guys are testing cars. They're testing for the season. I know there's a couple of guys changing genres of motorsport to have a go at circuit. So we're getting last minute flurries. We can't. Car's broken. We're not sure. Do we need this? Do we need that? Is it okay to breathe? Things like that. It's just really cool. So looking forward to it. Actually, it's I'm getting the chance to have a drive, and it's been 3 years.
What are you going to drive?
So we've got a little road car, a little Pulsar that's got a pretty grunty little motor. It's actually 4 seconds a lap faster than the race cars.
The road car?
Yeah.
Okay, if you're a member of the Ministry of Transport, you didn't hear that.
Oh no, it's legal. It's fully legal.
Yeah, I know, but how do you know it's faster than a race car?
Lap times.
Road car. Oh,
lap times.
So we did on the racetrack.
This is the thing. We've actually done the measurable lap times instead of going to the Thursday night underground drags.
Look, just trying to keep everything legal here.
And a full belly of fuel and the spare tyre as well as one on me and passenger. And we did like a 15-1 or something like that down the strip. So it's all right. It's not a stupidly fast car.
Standing quarter mile. Yep.
It's pretty cool. Yep. So looking forward to that. And we've got 56 at the moment drivers. Capacity is 80, 20 per class times 4 classes. So, but we're in the mid to high 50s and maybe 2 or 3 more. So if we had 60 hit the track, we'd be pretty happy with that. But looking forward to it. I'm not sure if you're going to be okay for bringing the Skoda or the Fiat this time because you've got some things going on there. You're a busy little man.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. Thanks very much.
Moving on.
Hopefully then we'll have some footage and some photos on the Hooncorp website. You can catch up with it.
Absolutely. Yep. All the Hooncorp socials.
Yeah, go to the Hooncorp socials and get yourself signed up. You'll pick up some information on this Trackside Lounge naturally, but also you'll be able to see what the guys have been up to. And speaking of getting up to and what we have to cover this off because it was just this morning, Liam Lawson in the points again in Formula One.
At what point are the Red Bull and the Racing Bull teams going to swap the priority because you got the junior team outperforming the pro team
there?
Oh,
Max
man.
Verstappen out in free practice.
And first time in his career that he's ever been ousted in Q1 on his own merit. Obviously it's happened before, but it was a mechanical fault.
Someone drove into
crash but this is the first time he's had no excuses. And I think the really almost sad one too was his dad's reaction. Did you see Jos?
No.
He basically Max crossed the line, P16, and he just stormed out of the garage, gone, doesn't want to know about it, probably going to abandon Max at a gas station again, how sad is it that your son's a multiple-time world champion? You've created this monster, and if you've ever looked into Max Verstappen's upbringing, it's atrocious.
Wow.
Jos put him through absolute crap, and consequently he's now the most feared driver on any circuit. But even now, with all of his accomplishments and all of his titles and all of his crowns and stuff, he gets one poor result, and his dad's back to just storming out and it's all over.
One of them's not right in the head, if you ask me, and I think the driver's okay.
It's not like Jos did any better when he was in F1. So,
but an exciting time for Liam Lawson, like you say.
Oh, wow.
Is this going to improve his chances looking towards 2026? Because there's still a lot of flibbity-gibbet crap around who's going to be driving which Red Bull car, blah-de-blah-de-blah. Certainly, after the Mexico performance, the marshal runs across the track in front of your car while you're out on the lap, and the Mexican officials are trying to blame Liam Lawson for it. How the hell does that work?
Well, what
were they doing on the track?
Well, they were cleaning up debris on the first lap for a car, which of course Liam comes into the pits straight away. Excuse me. They were cleaning up the pits and everything, and I cleaned up the track. and they weren't communicated that Liam is now exiting the pits, coming onto the track, and he was going around that right-hander, and immediately there's a left-hander. So he's actually seen as if he's swerving towards the marshals.
Just following the track.
But if he didn't do that, he was going to go off at that corner because he hadn't been warned. I think I don't even know that there was yellow flags. I stand corrected, but it's actually come out since that they've not only cleared him of any wrongdoing, but the track and the FIA have actually apologised to Liam. So what a great way to come back on that.
I wonder if the Mexican Ministry of Motorsport or whatever it was that tried to put the blame on Lawson in the first place, I wonder if they've come out and said,
I wonder if the event gets 5 penalty points or something like that, because the drivers, they lose points when they mess up. Maybe the FIA or the people responsible, they need to have like a point system on them as well. But
that'd be worthwhile, wouldn't
the safety car is going to get a 5-place grid penalty in Mexico next year, 26.
So it's only just happened, the Brazil Grand Prix, like you said, and Liam, what a fantastic result. But of course, him and Isaac, both the top 10, guys there of Racing Bulls, both in the top 10, I should say. But credit is that Max Verstappen started from the pit lane, comes through to the podium, and then, of course, Yuki had an absolute dinosaur of a day and gets a ping, is damage to his car. He just started 17th, finishes 17th. My question, though, is Isaac moving to Red Bull a promotion, or has he got that car dialed in where he's a rookie? Let's not forget, both him and Liam are still in their full rookie season, and Isaac is actually going, not going, I don't know what he's going, but all I'm saying is, I think he's got that car nailed. Is he going to improve? Remember, he was on the podium a month or two ago. He's commonly in the top 10. He's done a sensational job. He's dragging Liam along, although in this case, Liam, is finished in front of him by 0.6 or 0.7 of a second.
It wasn't much, no.
No, I'm starting to wonder which is the cursed seat. I think Racing Bulls need to start showing. But in those brackets, obviously, Max finishing on the podium. So well done to Max Verstappen.
It is a tricky one too, because like Red Bull's a bit unique in that I think they're the only team that have that sort of upper team, lower team type dynamic. Ferrari, there's no racing Ferraris, junior team, or there's no like mini Haas or mini Williams or any of the like outfits. So
Can you imagine a mini Haas team though? It'd turn up with half a car.
Well, they'd show up with one car and it's going the wrong way. But the so Red Bull's got that unique position where they swap these drivers around and they do that, and what does Isaac say? Hey, look, no thanks, I'm good. Can he do that? Because there's a lot more to it than just race car driver show up to track and drive fast.
I mean, he's got to think, I guess his management team have to think about his future, the development role if he does move up to Red Bull 1, we'll call them, out of the Racing Bulls. That's the development that he's looking for. But also, with the performances that he's putting in for Racing Bulls, there's got to be one or two other teams sort of snapping around their heels, talking to his management, saying, mate, we could put you into McLaren. I was just wondering.
Or Ferrari.
Well,
how did they go? Sorry, how did Ferrari go? Not well.
Not great.
Both cars.
Just a quick one. Lewis Hamilton, do you think next year might be his last year racing for Ferrari? That's just a rumour that I saw splash through the socials. I don't put any credence in it.
He might have the same idea as Fernando. I think we talked about Fernando a few weeks ago. Last man standing from the he's driven V10, V8, V6, and obviously now this turbo hybrid. Next year we've got another massive set of changes. I don't know actually what they're calling this generation of cars, but
hybrid though.
The car of the future or whatever.
Heard that before.
I think that's probably. I think Fernando said that was going to be. He's going to give it a go. If it goes well, he might finish on a high. I can't remember which the order, but he's going to try it out at least.
Yep. Well,
Lewis might be the same. Let's get through 26, see what the future of the sport kind of looks like, and then decide whether or not, like you say, whether that's the victory tour, the final sort of farewell parade.
On those changes, I know that the WRC are changing next year where they're going away from hybrid. I'm not sure that Formula 1 are. I shoot my mouth saying no hybrid, but I don't know if they are. They staying with it? Or? Yeah, no DRS.
Got rid of the DRS. I think it's still... I don't mean as far as like it's a new era, like it's not turbo hybrid, but every era of F1 you've been able to define by the engine, but what are they going to call it now? Because they can't call it turbo hybrid 2. So.
Interesting you talk about the changes. There's talk of IndyCar going to a hybrid system as well. and hybrids, and this was the big news story, was hybrids running at the Indy 500. And of course, naturally, social media exploded. Although there were some people who proved themselves to be remarkably out of touch, talking about, they should stick with the V8s that they've got and that sort of thing, sort of failing to actually know that they run V6 turbos.
Little problem there.
Yeah. So we'll see how that develops, because could be advantages to hybridizing on an oval. You could control the slip and slide of the car a little bit more, perhaps. Maybe not. Maybe we'll ignore that.
But because hybrid technology is like dependent on you braking to recharge the system, right? Kinetic energy recovery. You don't brake on an oval.
No, it's not braking; it's lifting. So,
okay.
So what you do is you let some guy get in front, and you just climb up on the gearbox and just back out of the throttle and start. But you're getting all the charge you need to pass them. So it'll be like
the
push to pass.
It'll be like the cycling, like the velodromes, where they all take turns being the lead and they all sort of swap around. And okay.
Does that mean that each driver in front has to wear one of those stupid sperm-like helmets?
They've got the aero screen, don't they?
Aero screen.
They've already got the windscreen, so they don't need that one. They don't need the suggestive-looking race helmet.
Quickly staying with the ovals, and I've got to bring this up because it's not often I get to say the NASCAR champion is a mate of mine, a bloke I know.
Get out of here.
Wow. Kyle Larson, of course, raced down here in midgets and sprint cars. Western Springs a number of times, and my mate Graham Standring went to Indy, and they were going past in the parade. Kyle's wife saw Graham, said, "Kyle, it's Graham." Kyle jumped off the float to shake hands with Graham. He did that to nobody else at IndyCar. Yeah. So he's a guy that's got a great connection to New Zealand, and what a fantastic win that was for him.
Well, fantastic for, NASCAR in general, because, I'm not saying he's the most liked guy, because he's a talented driver, though. Yeah. And it really annoys me when you see the class and calibre of Kyle Larson, and yet you see the haters. They try and find a reason to be picky, but this is what you're saying about Kyle Larson. He's not just good at NASCAR. There's not much he's not good at, which reminds me of another NASCAR driver at the moment.
Sprint cars.
Yep.
The other NASCAR driver.
The other NASCAR driver we know, and there's a story on him too.
Yeah.
Beautiful story.
It was a really moving thing. And I'm going to climb in on this one because I've read so much rubbish in the socials about NASCAR and what's happening in trackhouse racing. They've got to rethink something, blah. And it's all coming down on Shane Van Gisbergen, and it turns out absolutely none of it is true. None of it whatsoever. But the good news is, next season in NASCAR, SVG runs the 97.
How good was that video, though? That reveal, and obviously the 1, the 88, and now the 97, which to the Americans, that's breaking news. I don't know who previously ran the 97 in NASCAR, because I saw some talk about, that'll be that guy's number forever because I was his fan back in 2002 or whatever. But, for us on this side of the world, the less politically controversial side of the world, we've always known that Van Gisbergens, plural, as the 97.
But didn't Shane run 97 in the Xfinity a few times when he first started? Was it last year?
His debut.
His debut, he ran the 97, but it was a choice on the debut. And then they move into the regulation registrations or whatever.
Because his win in Chicago, he was 88.
88.
Yeah. I think he's more 88 than 97. But I think there was a couple of times. I think the first time, a couple of 3 years ago, when he was first having a guest drive, they somehow procured the 97 in Xfinity.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. But what I find was really, really interesting is I saw, and you see a lot of comments. One of the comments that made me laugh was, Trackhouse Racing, they've given Connor Zillits the 88. That means he'll get the special equipment. He'll be the best driver. He's the premium drivers. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. Exactly. I think they've got two exceptional talents there.
Because one of the other drivers is running the number 1. He's not he's not the NASCAR Chat, but he's running the number 1 car. So
here's the thing: and I don't think it's going to happen next week, but if Shane does win the NASCAR title in the future, and the following year. Will he run 97 or 1? Because what did he do in Supercars when he won the title 3 times?
97.
Exactly.
And the 97.
Exactly.
And so he should too.
Are we a fan of this whole playoff system? Because it's been interesting these past few weeks, especially with Supercars now adopting, basically the same formula, right? The NASCAR fans are all complaining about the format, And then the Supercars fans are all raving about the format, but obviously the difference is one's been used for a fair few seasons now. Do we actually like it?
To be honest with you, I'm confused by the whole thing. I prefer, if you're the winningest racing driver that scores the most points, congratulations, you're the champion. That's a simple little thing.
To me, it's always been a thing about, well, if I'm not in the top 20 or top 10 or whatever, guess what? I'm a teammate to the guy who is.
Yeah.
That's how I've always wondered about that. And I like first past the post. As far as first car across the line, no matter what, whether you're first or 31st in the championship, I think you still get a fair crack, get the same points, get the same. You've paid the same entry money, you've prepped the same spec car, and the drivers, and crew have had to put up with so much. But a good point though. I mean, that is an interesting concept. What's your thoughts on it?
I don't know. It's
so we're not sure because we're old fuddy duddies, and you're not sure. Come on.
The first time that the news came out about Supercars doing the whole playoff thing, I said, and you'll remember it, that I need to see it happen in practice to really get an idea on if it's a good thing or not. And it's been very interesting seeing the NASCAR guy, because there was a few guys in NASCAR that kind of got screwed out of their titles because of the way the playoff system's structured. And, this guy did better overall, but this guy performed when it mattered most, as opposed to the thing. So it's a curiosity.
I didn't know the wives got us saying it, but there you go.
Yeah. So, anyway, look, it's NASCAR's going pretty cool. We're happy for SVG. 97's back where it belongs, and
Liam got some points
and Liam
in
got
Formula One,
points.
so we'll see how that shakes down for next year, because everything's changed now. We're into flipping it. We're in November, end of this year, so the summer season is underway. Dirt track is starting. Speedway has had a couple of really good meetings, a really big one at Bay Park in the weekend, and Daniel Thomas got his second podium of the season. Man, he's good. He's on fire with that car at the moment. There's some really good stuff to see around there. Michael Pickens didn't have such a great time. Brad Mosen ran the Bill Buckley 50, and a huge fight with Ben Morrison. There was a 5-lap session towards the end of the race where they swapped places every single corner. One would get around the other one, and just as they'd come up the straight, the other one would get the nudge going in. So there was just a fraction of a second in it, and then Ben just got in the wrong place at the wrong time, and Brad walked away. But I mean, Ben Morrison's come on such leaps and bounds in the last couple of years in midget. I mean, he's a champion in the making. That boy, he just drives so well.
I mean, to be on pace so early in the season, I don't know how Speedway guys do it. They don't mess around, because you have ELS, electronic lap score, and straight away that the sprint car time is a fraction of all the other guys out there and girls out there on the different classes, and yet if they're doing like a 12 or possibly an 11 around the track, they'll be doing 12s or possibly 11s first race meet out, dial the cars, and they don't usually take long to hit their straps, except for the rookies moving up through, and I suppose it's the other thing of growth of Speedway too. It's the time now where we actually look at it and we go, oh, that's Bob, and Bob used to be in the midgets in the last season. Now he's moved into sprint cars or moved into F2 that's right. So F2 into midget proper and all sorts of different things. So it's a pretty exciting time. And you alluded to Western Springs earlier on. Well, there's been a huge amount. Every time we go on about Western Springs and that, we talk about Waikaraka, which is now the new home of the open wheel class. But boy, looking at some of those improvements that the contractors have done, the buildings and the
it was a good track.
It looks good.
It does look good. Have you seen a picture taken from one end to the other?
Oh, a little bit, but
when it was first being profiled, we snuck out there on a rainy day, and there's this big curve, and there's a little dip down the straight, and then she comes back into the curve again. But it's fast. It is going to be a fast track. And the one thing I'm looking forward to is when all the people finally get their cars on the track and they get to race out there. It's a brand new track, boys. Who's going to take the track record, the inaugural track record? Because that would be something to hang on to on a track.
Who's also going to scuff the wall first?
Everyone's going to have a go. There's going to be tyre burns on that wall right from the word go. In fact, I might go out there and do one myself.
Watch out rear end of the Skoda. But no, it looks sensational. And you're right, the track records, I mean, they're all set on the 460 metre pole line. It's a 390 on the 400, just under 400 metre pole line, I understand. So that obviously means it's going to be a faster track by default. So, I mean, the sprint cars were in the low to mid 12s 12s from memory. I think we might be talking 11s then, potentially.
I think 11.59.
What was this? Do you know the record for sprint cars at Western Springs? Similar sort of mileage?
Is about
390?
I think it's about 12.89. Because it's just on 400.
Yeah.
It's just on 400. And it wasn't the best track, but it was the best track, and the temperature was right, and that car was solid open. And I think that was I think it's a Michael Pickens track record on that one.
So just, I think there's a lot of people going to ask the question, and I think we can ask it now, and you have not had any prep on this. Are you going to be part of Waikaraka Park with the open wheel guys 2025-26?
As I've always said, and I'm going to say, as I've always said, as far as we know, and there's talk of maybe trying to get back into Western Springs, that still at the moment is talk, and I wish to God that we could have 2 great racetracks.
Sure.
But right now, there's one racetrack that we get to do open wheel at Waikaraka Park, and I love the sport so much, I'm going to be there to watch the guys race.
So you haven't retired?
Mate, I'll never retire from open wheel racing.
Fantastic.
But it's about the sport, not necessarily the venues. And like
For
you say,
sure.
as much as there's love for Western Springs, I mean, there's love for Pukekohe, but that's been gone for how long? And guess what? The circuit racing scene is still there.
Yeah,
It
just not in
still
Auckland.
exists. It's just, so, but yeah, like you say, there is still open wheel racing in Auckland.
Yeah,
It's just up to the hunched shoulders, arms crossed, whether or not they actually show up. I mean, that opening night is going to be gigantic.
If it's limited on crowd size, but if you're going to do the old hunched shoulders, cross your arms and that sort of thing, then you wouldn't go and see him in Huntly, and you wouldn't go and see him at Bay Park, and you wouldn't travel to the other sides, but you do. All right? So let's support the drivers, and if we've got a hell of a track to race them on, it's going to be hell of a good racing.
Well, if it's also got the improvements include this big screen TV. So, that's a head and shoulders better than what Waikaraka used to have, which obviously Western Springs used to have. But there was a system that they were setting up while Western Springs was still going. So I believe it's a different system. I have seen photos of the lighting at night. Holy smokes.
Lighting's good. Lighting's real good.
Dude, I mean, honestly, it's brighter during the day than the Auckland City Council in a meeting. It's going to be fantastic. So looking forward to that one. But I mean, when it comes down to, all the other little things there, and you guys have both hit the nail on the head. We don't have circuit racing in Auckland, but there is Speedway in Auckland. And like Nik said, don't support it. Sure, then it's all completely gone and it's dead. And I sure as heck hope that it isn't dead in people's eyes in Auckland Speedway. And whatever happens with Western Springs, well, regardless, those drivers that turn up with those cars, with those sponsors who pay good money on those cars, need to be supported, need to be seen. And otherwise they don't get sponsorship. So you might be hurting.
That's how the business side of motorsport works.
Yeah.
Also,
True
just
story.
with a bit of Speedway too, a year ago now since we lost Petrolfumes.
Oh, this too. It's actually the day.
I saw the post today, 1 year ago today. Obviously, this will go up probably tomorrow. Since we lost Petrolfumes,
Wow.
Dave Shaw. If you don't know, he was a pretty legendary Speedway guy.
Yeah.
Went to every single meeting there was, video archives for days and days and days, and we still miss him.
Oh, I miss him dearly. We used to do the Petrolfumes Hooncorp Go-Kart Challenge. I actually sent a message this morning to Nikki, his partner, and what a stalwart she is and was while he was alive. And I said, I remember the most common conversation I used to have with Dave. It was, pardon? Because he was as deaf as a post and he refused to wear blooming hearing aids. And it was like, hey, Dave, can you go? Yeah, pardon? Just want to strangle him. But I still want to strangle you, Dave. And we still think of you, mate. And I miss him because he was he's taller than me too. So big
I
bugger.
always thought he couldn't hear because he was so tall. He's up there. Dave, mate.
And that was what he was going to stick to. That's the answer.
Yeah. So hey, good point there. And very very nice special moment. So R.I.P. Dave, and of course support Nikki, and of course Petrolfumes still exists on Facebook. So if you can support that page and
his YouTube channel, like I said, video archive from whenever his first video was. It was many years ago.
Yeah.
And he just toured the country. He was at Waikaraka. He was at Bay Park.
And he seldom talked too.
Yep.
It was just videos.
Yep.
I think his first video had Nik Brown without any facial hair. So it's quite a while ago.
The last video he posted before his passing was the pit walk in Huntley.
Which is where he died.
And that was him walking around talking about, this car and all that's been looking very good all weekend. And, so, yeah, he's just... Yeah.
Well, he actually passed away after this race meet at Huntley. So, I mean, that would be right. It's almost like Denny Holman's circuit, dying on Bathurst on the Conrod Straight.
Yep.
I don't know what's the right thing there, but anyway, RIP Dave and Nikki, hope you're getting support and...
Sorely missed.
Sorely missed.
Right here, let's bring a bit of levity to it. There's nothing like a challenge, and challenges in sport, particularly in this country, if we're up against Australia, it's always a big one. Now, it was on track, but it was also in the ether, sim racing. It was the Australia-New Zealand Challenge.
Yeah. 6 hours of Spa.
6 hours.
So Spa-Francorchamps, obviously quite the circuit. I actually outperformed the flagship Hooncorp car.
Woohoo!
So me and Tim, it was quite interesting because post race, so the outplayed racing guys basically took a bit of a win, with the Brocky Sim Racing guys coming up in second. The Brocky Sim Racing guys are running an Aston just like us, and we've actually been sort of collaborating a little bit on some setup bits and pieces and
Trans-Tasman Pally isn't
sort of comparing notes. And in the post-race interviews, was it Josh Struick basically said, there's no way the Aston could have done a 4-stop because they couldn't save the fuel, they couldn't make the numbers work.
No.
Mate, we did a 4-stop, so obviously we were way slower.
Yeah.
We weren't, we weren't at the pointy end of the grid like that. But it was, to chop out an entire pit stop at Spa, which I don't know if you've ever seen the pit lane at Spa. It's the entire. You got your main straight, then you got your hairpin, then you've got your run down to Eau Rouge.
Yep.
The 24-hour layout, they use that entire straight. So you're trundling along on the limiter at 50 k's for probably 90 seconds before you even get to your pit box.
Yeah. That's going to
painful.
chew up some time.
That's painful. So if you can afford to cut out a pit stop, that's nearly a full lap worth of
Have you ever thought of putting in bigger tanks? Just bigger fuel
Well,
tanks?
we got limited. The Aston's got 122 litre tank or something, and for this one we only had 115. So
and what sort of mileage would you be getting to the fuel usage there?
To do the 4-stop, we had to get...
He'll give you the answer after the break.
We had to get 3.6 litres per lap.
Per lap, and how
that's
lap?
That's a 7 kilometre lap.
Jesus. Okay, well, I just want to point out the Fiat can run 3.7 to 4.3 litres per 100 kilometres. But if that was the case, I would still be lapping the racetrack at this stage, just because it would take so bloody long.
Yeah, probably.
It was a fantastic race, and of course you guys use the GT3 platform, so GT3 cars, and the Australia New Zealand, as Nik calls it, which is the AUSNZ series. It's really gaining some ground. I mean, you've got drivers all around New Zealand and around Australia coming together, and time zones now. I mean, North Australia time zone is massively different to New Zealand, like 6 or 7 hours out. So you guys they're trying to start in the earliest of New Zealand to be the not so late in Australia, but it's still 6 hours of driving for them.
Yeah.
And that's an awful lot of mileage for them, and a lot of time. And there was one driver there doing the whole 6 hours by himself. There was another guy there, Jimbo, who actually has done all the series so far by himself, but he just said, dude, I just can't do this by myself. And so we mentioned that the Skyline was missing on that particular race because Jimbo didn't have a partner. Yep. And in part of our commentary, I said, there must be someone out there for the next round and for the Circuit of Americas. And all of a sudden, some guy pops up and he's a known driver, and he comes up, yeah, mate, I'm going to get in touch with him. And he did. He knew the guy, and they communicated during the course of this race. And by the end of the post-race interview, we actually had to talk to this guy. And he goes, yeah, mate, I've spoken to Jimbo, and I'm going to be in for Cota, so we're definitely back in.
The Nissan is back.
Fantastic.
So you did
up 35.
talk about something there, and admittedly it is sim racing versus actually in the car racing.
Yep.
But a 6 hour race and some guy that has to do it all by himself. Is there such a thing as comfort stops? Can you pause the game? And
mate,
No.
If you want to come in for a pit stop and sit there for a while you're off having a drink or a piss or whatever you need, you're welcome to.
Yeah.
But I mean, 30-second mandatory stop for fuel and tyres. So can you go for a quick whiz and a drink in that time?
Some of us can.
and the problem is like Nathan was saying, the pit lane is so long, you can't just push it on, okay, it's going to come and pit by itself and go off and do that for 90 seconds. You've actually got to drive the car round the corner, drive the car into the pit box and stop the car.
Which brings us to the controversy of what will happen when you get self-driving cars.
Oh, don't go there.
That's not even...
Race cars will have that.
Well,
there'll be series where they specifically don't, and then those will be the ones that actually get viewership, as opposed to the ones that do, and then people are just kind of watching them out of like morbid curiosity.
I do have a quick story on a self-driving car, and you guys are going to love this.
I know where this is going.
Okay, Tesla self-driving car, and it has a whole bunch of cameras that help it identify things on the road to steer it around. A guy in the States did a quick test. Did a test with a Tesla using its self-driving system, and the new Lexus on its LiDAR self-driving system. LiDAR works on a radar style thing. It sweeps the road in front and gives readings on what it thinks there are. The guy did this simple test. Remember the old Roadrunner cartoons?
Yeah.
Wile E. Coyote would sometimes he'd paint the road on a brick wall.
Yes.
And the Roadrunner would just run straight up and he'd go, oh, how did that happen? And he'd bang, and the wall would be there. Guy in the States got a banner printed up to look like the horizon, strung it across the road that the two self-driving cars were going to go down. The Lexus recognized that although it looks like a road, it's actually a blockage, and brought the car to a complete stop. The Tesla, now this is a true fact, and you can look it up on Google if you want to. I dare say the story has been taken down now because Tesla would be so pissed off about this. The Tesla, its cameras read the road in front of it and assumed it was a road because that's what it looks like, and the Tesla crashed into the banner at full speed. It didn't attempt to slow down, it just went straight into it like the Roadrunner did. So there you go. It's just
that wasn't quite what I was expecting.
Well, I suppose that's the difference between a camera-based system and a LiDAR-based system. So,
and a human eye.
I'm sure, like you say, old Elon will be taking notes on that one, and that'll be another firmware update, because cars can get that these days. They can get software updates. Yeah, ridiculous.
Here's another interesting thing. What happens when your computer gets a software update, or your phone gets a software update? You can't use it. What happens if you've got one of those cars that gets a software update from the cloud while you're driving in self-driving mode? For a moment, it's actually not going to do bloody anything, is it?
I imagine it would at least wait until you're stopped, but then, if you're stopped at like the red lights, or I don't know, you're in the middle of the Badlands and, last gas for 2,000 miles.
Yeah.
But don't you get updates in that saying there's going to be a scheduled outage or scheduled?
Oh no, you can schedule it.
Opt it to be.
You've got an update, you can schedule it. But there'll be a whole bunch of people, and I'm thinking mostly in the States of America, who have Teslas, because we all know they're like, and they'll just go, it'll do it itself. My computer does it.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, you hear of all the crashes and all the bad stuff about it. I wonder how much of it is a result of the owner of the vehicle being a complete frickin' idiot.
Well, that's a good point, because I saw a true story about a Cybertruck the other day. So it was on Facebook, so it had to be real. About a guy having a crash in the Cybertruck. It was in self-driving mode, and the car made a mistake and crashed. The driver got charged because the driver was sitting there. It was in auto mode, but the driver got a ticket.
Driver put it in auto mode, so it's his responsibility. There you go. Done.
And I'm sitting there going, hang on a minute, what about Tesla? And they say it can drive automatically, and it automatically had a crash. So is it the driver? The guy could be in the back making a cup of tea.
The law, the way it is at the moment, is you have to be in the vehicle in the right position, keeping an eye on it to make sure. So if it has an accident, the responsibility is with the driver or owner of the motor vehicle.
Very good friend of Hooncorp's, Jordan Greer, who runs GT Planet. Now, he was in Los Angeles this weekend for the Gran Turismo World Series.
Yeah.
And
did he buy us any presents?
Well, I'll wait for the novelty T-shirt or something to arrive. But cheers, Jordan. But no, look, he posted a thing on his story, and I'll actually ask him if I can grab the footage off this, because it was so surreal. Los Angeles, right? He was in a Jaguar or whatever it was. This is like an Uber ride type situation. No driver. He's sitting in the back seat as if it's an Uber, but there was nobody in the driver's seat, and he's watching the steering wheel turn and go into that street and then go that way, and he's sitting in the back, and it's like, this is freaky. And that's just got me thinking now about you. Yeah, if there's a crash, who's at fault? Because he's not in the driver's seat.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good point.
He's in the back. He's a passenger. He's paid his whatever they charge.
Must be the taxi company.
Whatever they charge for an Uber in LA. But if I ordered an Uber or whatever other service there is, I think there's one called Bolt now and Lyft and all that sort of stuff. Like, if the car shows up and there's no driver, I'm just going to get in and drive. Like, thanks for the car for me to drive, but I'd rather drive myself. And there has to be some sort of an override, right?
Yeah.
Can't wait for the upcoming lawsuits against this.
Well, wait for the upcoming car that's actually, it's just got a cabin that you can sit in, but there's no steering wheel, there's no pedals.
I'm getting sick of hearing all this.
I hate that.
That's been a prediction for how many
I hate
decades
it.
now?
But I'll tell you what they could use self-driving for is like doing things like really dangerous, like a land speed record. I mean, you could imagine if you could actually have a radio-controlled, souped-up car and everything, and literally have like a radio-controlled system, because we have someone doing a land speed record, a Kiwi at the moment, and they're doing, well, we won't say rather well, because obviously I think it's a few more days until they actually hit the Salt and Angus, but boy, they've had a torrid time over in Bolivia, haven't they?
They have had a torrid time. They had problems with one of the containers. They had 4 containers. One of them never turned up. 3 of them were held in, I think, Bolivia at the time, because they have to go to a dry lake bed. They finally got them sorted out. They got all the cars out. There's the world's fastest Mini that's been on the Salt, the NSX that's been on the Salt, Waiuku 1 and Waiuku 2 are there. They've had test runs. The word is, because I believe it's going to be fairly soon, we'll find out how they actually get on, when the weather conditions will be absolutely perfect for it. The test runs they've done so far, the record is definitely attainable, full stop.
Because this is Reg Cook, and Reg Cook confesses to be a self-confessed speed geriatric. And as you mentioned, all those cars, and Reg is synonymous with building all sorts of good stuff around New Zealand, and even sending engines overseas, and the old Datsun A series and Minis, and then you got into more and more technical stuff, V8s, turbos, and looking inside those land speed cars here, the Waiuku 1, Waiuku 2, they are unbelievably technological. I mean, here's a guy that's, going back to building cars from the 50s, 60s, 70s. He knows how to make a high compression, 998cc. The Mini is one of the cars they're actually running. But then to see all the wizardry and the whiz-bang and the electric this and the hydraulic that, and you think, my goodness, this is a huge amount of money involved. And it's actually come to the point now with the delays they've had in Bolivia that I was a little bit concerned to see how this was going to play out. They did a crowdfunding thing because they were literally out of money. And what I didn't realise was, up until now, it's been 100% out of Reg's pocket.
Yep.
He's paid for this himself.
Yep.
Did a crowdfunding thing, said, look, we need an X amount of figure, and guys, how do we donate? Oh, we can't do give a little because we won't get our money for days, weeks, months down the line. And I don't know what arrangement they came to, but they did do a give a little, and within a matter of days they're up to like 30 or 40 grand I saw, and I think it's gone even further than that to help them out, which is great. So hopefully the CSR team, Cook Speed Record or whatever it is, can
Something like that.
It's that Kiwi indomitable spirit, isn't it? So
that's exactly what he advertises on the side. It's the Kiwi spirit, and it's when there's a problem, we just have to find a solution. So
there are no problems, there are just solutions.
Just solutions waiting to be let out. But plenty more to talk about. They were told Hayden Paddon, doing the great job in the rally car. But of course, before that, he was actually driving to a number. But we didn't mention last time. I wasn't brought up that there was one stage he actually won 3 different rallies in 3 different weeks in 3 different countries.
Yeah.
So, when he's gone and taken the Australian title by using common sense, but what I forgot to mention too was that, for him to actually achieve that, and where he was the defending European rally champion, from the year and the year before, 24 and 23, then to actually still be on that pace, when does the guy ever retire? When does he ever hang up his helmet? I don't think it's anytime soon.
No, he's still got it. And this most recent one in Australia, he dedicated it to Possum.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It was for Possum. That's bloody awesome. Obviously, he's
He didn't win the race outright.
Not this
but
one.
He scored enough points because I think in the final stage they damaged a front suspension unit, so he was nursing the car home. Still brought it home close enough to the guy that won to maximise the points. So it's a class drive, an absolute class drive.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing about rally racing, isn't it? It's not just outright balls to the wall speed. It is a bit of vehicle management and nursing. I think I've heard something recently about rally. I think you only ever do sort of 90% commitment because, if you go 100, you're just going to write something off in a big way. So
I want to talk about my T-shirt. I'm wearing a Team Kiwi Racing T-shirt, but there's lots of them out there. This isn't actually just any T-shirt. I got this in the early days, the first year of competition from Team Kiwi. I actually got 2 T-shirts. The white one didn't quite make it. This is the first one.
I thought that was the white one.
Never washed it. I'm a filthy mechanic. I need to wash my hands more. I actually had this. Actually, my wife, your mum, actually got this for me, and it was signed on one side by Angus Fogg. and the other side by Jason Richards.
Oh, wow.
The only problem was they used gold felt tip pen. Now, gold on black doesn't stick out that well, and when it went through the wash, gold doesn't stick to the thing very well, and you do have to wash them at time to time. And back then, it wasn't the collectability that it is now. So even though it's just a blank old, manky old T-shirt that I'll refuse to throw away with a hole in the sleeve and a hole up here somewhere, it actually means something quite cool. And I thought about this after Bathurst, because obviously Team Kiwi did their big display at Bathurst, and I thought, you know what, this shirt has got a story for me. And I just think it's a cool little story, that whether or not it's of interest to others or not. But, you know, the fact that it wasn't perfect, and it certainly isn't perfect anymore, it added to the whole charm of and, you know, they were really good about it. Like when they realised what had happened, like Foggy and Jason, you know, they weren't like, dude, yeah, we can, you know, no problem. And boom, within a day or two, the other shirt was procured and gifted, and that was really quite cool.
And sign that one again?
No. I'm happy with the way it is, because it is what it is. You know, I don't want to try and make it.
Really good at gold on black now. Yeah. Really good.
I know where you got the idea from, Angus. So that was pretty cool. But guys, I just wondered about one thing. What do you know about drag racing? Change the subject completely.
Really fast and high heels is tough.
Yeah,
Can be.
Anyway, I think you're talking about a slightly different drag there.
Kind of drag, different kind of drag. I love it. I absolutely love it. But I know very little about it. I've been in a
3,000 horsepower car.
Yeah, it was a yellow Statesman that ran in the sportsman class, I think. Oh, many years ago. We're talking like 20 odd years ago. A guy gave me a ride in Wellington. The launch is something else. Something else. So, there's just no way of describing the actual instant pushing it back, because it's not so much that it accelerates, it's at that speed the moment it leaves, you know? And it's just incredible, the rush that you get from it.
Nothing else quite like it. Why do you?
Well, we've got some intel coming up in the next short time, shall we say, on someone who's actually quite heavily involved in drag racing and wanting to make a bit of a stamp in New Zealand motorsport, and relatively new to it, but been around it long enough. And I was just quite interested to see what you guys know from a raw, because I know literally nothing about it. Like I say, we ran the little pulsar down the strip one time and the road cars, but to see someone actually doing the job properly. So all I will say is that they're interested to get their brand out there a little bit more. They love the podcast, so we might be talking about drag racing in the not too distant future. Okay. Whether that means we end at the drag strip.
I'll have to practice my launches.
And I believe there's a passenger seat, and I will not be in it. So you would be open to potentially.
I don't think they need that kind of ballast.
I was going to say that'll be the difference between a 9-second flat and a 9.5.
Did you know? Just sitting on Brent Curran. Ran an RX2 down the drag strip, turbo rotary, the fastest car in the world that was in its class. Nothing was faster than it. And he's looking for a new project to roll out maybe this year. He knows his son has got an RX4 that he's playing around with. He's been doing a lot of good work over the winter, and I understand he's looking for a new drag racing project. So expect a Screamin' Rotary to go down the strip.
Interesting.
That could be on.
There was quite a lot of times that his name was in lights too, because he progressively got quicker and quicker. He went from being really fast to like being
blindingly fast.
And then it was the rotary standard of New Zealand, and
it became the standard of the world.
Absolutely.
The way that thing used to launch was incredible. There's nothing better than a massive supercharged big block V8. Just the hairs stand up, the ground shakes. But when that little RX2 left the line, it was, if you blinked, it had finished. That's how quick it felt. It would just go wind up, the lights would change, it would just go.
Was that quarter mile or was that 1,000 foot?
Quarter mile.
Oh, full quarter mile.
It was quick. Yeah. I mean, we're talking under 9 seconds.
Because I know a lot of drag racing these days is now 1,000 foot, and it's cool, but it's not.
Yeah, well, eighth of a mile, which is 660, and that's boring and dull to me, because someone says I did a 6 or a 7 in an eighth of a mile. I think that's like 2.5 weeks on a quarter mile, so no one really cares. But I like the quarter mile. I like the times, because we talked about Brittany Force. I think she's retired or retiring from drag racing.
Her helmet, wants to become a mom.
3 seconds, but that is 1,000 foot. Having said that, a quarter mile is 1360 or something like that. So we'll forgive her because 3 seconds.
One that's actually I saw a few weeks ago is actually starting to pick up is standing mile. So a full mile.
Wow.
And it's a few rich cats in somewhere in like California or whatever, and they're actually starting to bring their Ferraris or their Lamborghinis or their, supercars and exclusive cars that have all these great stats about them, but you never actually see them doing that speed because they're all in a garage or a collection or a Crown Prince's basement or whatever.
I'm still going to say if you got a top fuel dragster and you tuned it to run out to a mile instead of a quarter mile, it'd destroy
of course. But it's just interesting that you're starting to see some of these richer guys that actually don't mind getting their wheels dirty. Like they're not exactly whistling diesel over it, but by the same token, it's there was that guy a while ago. What was it? Tax the Rich or something, and he was doing like burnouts in a grass paddock with an XJ220, and actually using supercars. So it'd be cool to see some of that sort of stuff used again because goodness knows there's an appetite for it.
Well, there's an appetite for dirt track this weekend coming up at Waiuku Dirt Track. Kicking off the season, they had the practice last weekend, and not this one, just gone the weekend before. Practice day, 80 cars turned up. 80. And that used to be that 70 to 80 was a big race meet. Now their practice is 80. They've done a few more little changes to the facility. It's a little bit more upgraded even so. And if you haven't been to Waiuku Dirt Track before, I've got nothing against the other dirt tracks. Certainly need some support. Waihi Beach ran on the weekend. Mary tried to run. They got cancelled. Waiheke Islands. I love what Waiheke Island Dirt Track is starting to do, and that's a real thing. Go over to check out the site when their dates are coming up. But at the moment, though, and I think for quite some duration to come, is going to be Waiuku Dirt Track setting the standard, and there's more and more cool things coming. Of course, the end of the season, which is a long way away, they have the Demolition Derby, but boy, they're going to kick off this Sunday, and I have no idea how many cars they're going to have. Probably 100-plus drivers, 120-plus drivers, and some new cars hitting the track, and it was an absolute sight to behold. And I don't think it even in practice, I think they actually had their brains in between their ears for a change. They hadn't gone stupid. I know, they use practice for practice. So plenty to come, and thanks for being part of Trackside Lounge. We've still got a few more episodes there for this year, but we've got a few people wanting to come and see and come and talk and have a play. We've got a couple of other things in the works as well, and hopefully you can pull some strings and get us a little bit of an inside look at a little facility that's coming along Speedway-wise. That'd be cool.
All right, see what we can do. But so keep your eyes posted now. Simple things like if there's a dirt track near you, get along and watch. If it's open, go and have a go. It'll be a lot of fun. If there's motorsport on, it's either on TV or you catch it live because that's the best place to do it. Or maybe even get involved yourself, whether you're sim racing or you've actually got a car and you and some mates want to go racing, do it. Because there is nothing like the feel of the car on asphalt just before it slips off into the grass. See you next time.